This is the BEnergyAware Podcast. Hi, and welcome. The BEnergyAware Podcast is brought to you by Get Empowered Audiobook and Patreon. You can find a link to both in the description of this episode. Noticing small things that others miss is definitely a characteristic that highly sensitive people possess. And a lot of the time, highly sensitive people find it hard to believe that others don't notice those tiny details, because to them, they seem so obvious. One thing that I can say is that being highly observant has a purpose, and not a small one. Noticing things in this way can literally save lives, or at least change them for the better. And although it's good to help others, the one thing I want to point out is that it's important to use this gift to help yourself first. And when it comes to helping others, well, even if the person you're helping is open to receiving help, it's good to have a discernment about how and when to help. And if you really want to be of help, then you can even do it as a profession and enjoy a fulfilling career. To be highly observant can also feel like a burden. We need to remember that it's a gift that's supposed to be used for our own benefit, and when we do that for ourselves, others around us get to benefit as well, if nothing else, just by seeing our example. So, what does it mean to be highly observant? Well, it's not just about seeing, it's also about hearing, feeling, even smelling, and about knowing. Highly sensitive people can see what many other people miss seeing. They hear what others are not able to hear, and can also read into a person or a situation and just know something that others don't. For example, if a person is not feeling well, if others can actually tell that this person is not well, highly sensitive people on top of that can also tell why this person is not feeling well. They just know right away. And where highly sensitive people get into trouble is when they go out of their way to help that person or feel for them so much that they get drained. Helping someone is fine, but harming yourself in the process is not fine. Knowing how to help someone without harming ourselves is something to strive for. And this is exactly where awareness of energy that I had talked about previously comes into play. More on that in another episode. Okay, so how can we use the gift of being highly observant for our own benefit? What I can say from my own experience is that when noticing something that others don't, I normally have a chance of responding in a timely manner to a certain situation, which of course keeps me safe and also helps others when they need to be alerted to something that's a threat to them. By this, I mean an immediate physical threat, like for example, when they're about to get hit by a car, or when they drop something that's valuable, or when they unknowingly leave something behind them on a park bench. And those are just small things that can be noticed, and they can be even more subtle than that and invisible to the eye. The problem for me used to be when I would notice something that cannot be seen with human eyes. When I would just know something. And it took me a long time to come to terms with it, because the things that I would realize would be mostly unpleasant and sometimes very upsetting. Seeing what goes on in other people's lives when you don't really want to know can be disturbing. So, are we supposed to just shut down and not use our gifts? Well, it's good to be able to use them at our will. And when we feel we don't need them, well, maybe we can install an on off switch, so to speak, and have it all under control. We do not need to be bombarded with so much information all the time. I think it's something worth practicing. I would love to hear from you. Let me know if you can relate to any of this, and feel free to share some of your experiences with me. Get in touch with me through Instagram at BEnergyAware or through my website, BEnergyAware.com. And of course, leaving a review on Apple Podcasts always means a lot to me. And please share this podcast with your friends. I'm Bran, your host, and I'll talk to you again next week.